I think we have time for another story today. So let's read the next chapter. Chapter 29, Little Mali. Mali. Here in the Philippines, when there's an I, it's pronounced E. So, Little Mali. When morning came, When morning came, Mo and Dookie, not Mookie, Mo and Dookie took baby Sookie to the mission as usual. The doctor sent Mo to help Tim and Orlo and some of the older boys clear the ground west of the hospital. Roots and stumps that had been upturned when the ground was plowed had to be piled up to dry for firewood. Soon the fertile ground could be planted to beans or other crops. "Did you hear the news?" asked Tim as Mo came to help him with a heavy stump. "No," said Mo, wondering what it could be. "Didn't you hear the commotion last night?" asked Orlo. "It seemed to come from over your way." "I did hear some jungle dogs barking," said Mo, "but I couldn't see who they were chasing." "Two men were found badly clawed and scratched not far from the river road," explained Tim. "They had been drinking and were taken in for disorderly conduct. One of them was a charm doctor from the Savara village to the south." "Yes," added Orlo. "They were released from jail only a few weeks ago. Now they are back again. When will some people learn to leave rice whiskey alone?" As Mo listened, he listened to the comments of the boy. It was a strange coincidence. The charm doctor had probably Sookie's father and jungle dogs. Mo wondered why the charm doctor had come so near to his house. Was he intending to bring harm to Dookie or baby Sookie? Why had the little one's father come so far north, if not for some evil purpose? Surely the Lord had sent his angels to guard the home so that no harm had come to the little girls. "Will you help us, Big Mo?" called Adu, who was working with Khan trying to pull a gnarled root from the ground. Mo hurried over, and in a short time the root was added to the pile. Near this plot of plowed ground were several small gullies and washouts where streams had flowed during the heavy rains. Across one of these streams was a crude bridge used by the people who lived in the wooded section of the three hills. As Mo was carrying a bundle of roots to place on the pile, he heard someone calling. He looked up to see a woman standing on the bridge. Evidently, she had been crying. Mo walked toward her, thinking he might be able to help her, but she called to him, "Don't come any nearer." Thinking it was because she was afraid of Christians, he said, "I will not hurt you. I will help you if you will let me." "I'm sick," she said. "My husband is sick with the fever. The charm doctor came last night, but he did not help us. My little boy, Mali, is gone, and I cannot find him. I have called and called, but he does not come." An empty feeling struck Mo as he thought of the disturbance and the night. Could it be that the charm doctor had stolen the boy? Surely the lad would have been found unless the jungle dogs had. But no, Mo did not like to think what might have happened. "Please, let me help you," said Mo. "Let me take your husband to the mission where the doctor can help. He has wonderful magic for fever and snake bites." The woman was desperate. In spite of her fear of Christians and the curses of the charm doctor, she consented to let Mo, Tim, and Orlo follow her to her home. Adu and Khan offered to search the gullies and ravines for Mali. "He's so small," she wailed, "and he's not well. I'm sure he's hungry." When they came to the house, the boys made a litter from tree branches on which to carry the patient. The mother searched the house again for her boy, calling in vain. Molly, Molly, come to mother, my little garden boy. Then she fell sobbing upon the ground in a faint. She can't walk to the hospital, said Orlo, as he picked up one end of the litter while Tim took the other. I'll carry her, said Mo. We must hurry. I will follow you. Taking the unconscious woman in his strong arms, he made his way up the path behind Tim and Orlo. Adu and Khan went along the gullies, searching for the 2-year-old boy. Down over crags and tangled brush they climbed. They looked into every hole and tangled mass of debris along the banks of the washout. They called and they called, but only the endless echoes of their voices came back to them. Molly, Molly, called Khan. He thought he heard an answer to his call. Did you hear something? He asked his companion. I thought I did, replied Adu, but it might be the mynah birds calling to each other. There are so many noises in the jungle. Call again. Molly, Molly, called Khan. They listened anxiously, but only the echoes replied. Adu began. Remember the old parrot we had at the mission, and how he would mock people who laughed and children who cried? Yes, laughed Khan. He even made a noise like the squeak of the pulley on a well. We would run out to see who was drawing up water, and there was nobody. People in the village said it was the spirits drawing water, but we knew it was only the parrot. There is that sound again. Did you hear it, Adu? Yes, it sounded like a child calling his mother. It seemed to come from across the stream. We must be careful, Khan, for a leopard can make a noise that sounds like a child crying. Anyway, I have my wood hatchet, and I have my knife, said Khan. I'm not afraid. Let's cross the stream. Down into the water they waded, while in the trees overhead monkeys chattered and birds screamed. Molly, Molly, the boys called again and again, but there was no answer. We must have been mistaken, said Adu. Shall we go back? We might as well, said Khan. They were about to turn back when they heard it again, a pitiful voice calling, Mama, Mama, rice, rice. That was a child, said Khan, turning toward the sound. Down in a hole filled with twigs and bits of grass, they found the boy, scarcely more than a baby, thin, naked, and very dirty. Adu picked him up and spoke comforting words to him. Mama, rice, the little one said, holding out his hands. We'll take you to Mama and give you lots of rice, but first, let's give you a bath in the stream. It is muddy, but it might do some good. When we get you to the hospital, we will give you a nice bath with soap. How does that sound to you? Mama, rice, Molly said in a pleading tone. Mama and rice, lots of rice, Adu promised as he bathed the child in the stream. You're a cute little fellow when you're clean, said Khan. But Molly was not impressed with the compliment. He only held out his dripping hands and wailed, Mama, rice. Adu carried Molly tenderly as he followed Khan down the jungle path, past the crude hut of the villagers and across the bridge and over the rough plowed fields. Khan, said Adu, this little one seems hot. Do you suppose he has the fever too? It could be, agreed Khan. Do you want me to carry him the rest of the way? Thanks, but I think he's asleep. I can carry him the rest of the way. In a short time, Adu placed the sleeping child in the arms of the mission lady. Tenderly, she put him on a bed and called the doctor. They found the little boy, she said. Shall I go and inform the mother that he is safe? Wiping the perspiration from his face and neck, the doctor shook his head sadly. There is no need, he said. The father was dead on arrival, and the mother, I did everything possible, but the fever had gone too far. But come, let's look at the child. Perhaps there's still hope for the little orphan. The poor little fellow is half starved. There's no way of telling how long it has been since he has eaten a bowl of good rice. No doubt he has existed on whatever he could find. The doctor examined the sleeping child. I will do what I can, he said. One of the nurses, Sue Marie, was given charge of Molly. She gave him a bath and carried out the doctor's instructions. Whoa, that was a difficult night, wasn't it? They lost the mama and they lost the daddy and the little boy Molly, just 2 years old. We'll see if he makes it or if he doesn't. Maybe it'll tell us in the next chapter. Thanks for listening again to Dookie, Sookie, and Big Mo.